changes this week. We've got some warmth waiting in the wings just behind our windy conditions and snowflakes. We go from snowflakes to 70s this week, if you can believe it. Again, a walk over capitolagain.com. Thanks for joining our weekly Sunday Sunset Chat on X, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter X. So we've got lots to cover for you. It's quite an active and interesting change over the next 40 hours, starting from snowflakes today to 70s, potentially as early as Tuesday. Radar below showing some of these snowflakes, snow grains, and gravel, as they're known in the region, kind of popping around at times, mixing with the rain showers. But that is going to be a distant memory once we get this wind behind us tomorrow, into tomorrow night is when it might finally ebb, getting gusts below that kind of 15-mile-per-hour mark tomorrow night, and then a little calmer, sunnier again on Tuesday, but really get warmer. Maybe 70 degrees, we touch it briefly on Tuesday. Hello, thank you very much, Ron. Appreciate you tuning in. Thanks so much. Let me know how that is going. And we've got, alright, so let me see if I can fix the audio.
So now we're going to go to this microphone, and I hope it's a little bit better. All right. Thanks so much, Blue and everyone. We've got 70s waiting in the wings. We just have to get the snowflakes out of the way tonight, the wind out of the way tomorrow, and boy, do we get warmer by Tuesday, if not the middle of this week. Good evening, David, Charlene, and Beth, and AJ, and Charlene, and Julia. Thanks so much. Very great, Janet. I'm glad I had a backup. All right, good seeing you, Keith and TS and Susan. I am great that heavy. Appreciate you tuning in, and Rachel as well. We're going to talk about all the big changes coming up in the very short term this week. Wind is the main story with the wind advisory until at least I think 5 p.m. tomorrow. We have wind gusts potentially near 50 miles per hour again, and that is causing a lot of issues in parts of our region with some power outages. We'll discuss in a second. It's a big fight between a low pressure system off of the Maine coast heading into the Maritimes of Canada and a stronger high pressure system in the southern Mississippi Valley. They're battling it out, and we're stuck in the middle with wind gusts near 50 miles per hour, perhaps through much of tomorrow and tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures, once we get the wind out of the way, look how fast they warm in this animation below. We have 50s tomorrow. We go well into the 60s, if not touching 70 on Tuesday. And then we're off to the races with warmth all week. If you're a warm weather lover, you're really going to love this part of the forecast for Tuesday onward with several days of 70s possible. But if you are looking for snow, that is not in the forecast as it stands now. We've got some power outages reported in the region. We're in the mid Atlantic, kind of experiencing the brute force of these winds between the low pressure off of Maine and high pressure building in from the southern Mississippi Valley. So we are with near 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts. We've got power outages in the region. Virginia is hardest hit right now, and I'm really glad some of you on the PM update at capitalweathergang.com were giving me the heads up in the comment section of seeing some power outages. And I think some parties for Oscars tonight is bad timing for some of you. I'm sorry. But clouds are generally not a big deal this week. Precipitation, not even in the picture until maybe Friday through Sunday. We could see some showers or periods of rain, not adding up to too much, maybe a third to a half inch of rain by the time all is said and done. And you talk to me next Sunday for our weekly Sunday Sunset Chat. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com on X, on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Looking ahead to next work week, further ahead. Temperatures, if you're sick of the warmth, well, we're leaning below average with decent probability for next week. Precipitation, less of a clear signal, maybe a little bit of a lean toward above average precipitation for next work week as well. Not that we need it. Hydrologically speaking, we're doing just fine. Drought nowhere in the mid Atlantic to speak of. Maybe a spot there in North Carolina and one in Tennessee with D1, which is the first level of moderate drought. But look at these rainfall surpluses. Can you believe we're talking not rainfall deficits, but rainfall surpluses in those darkest blue pixels in the West Virginia Panhandle and kind of South Central Virginia? That's over 200% of normal rainfall year to date since January 1st. We're running quite noticeable surpluses. And with the warmth this week, 70s perhaps for maybe 4 days in a row starting Tuesday. We're watching the timing of the blossoms. We still think the general schedule that we like from the National Park Service, 23rd to 26th, we're leaning a little early maybe in that range because the stage two of the six stages has developed pretty darn quickly in the last few days. But gardeners, keep in mind we could still see, up to an inch maybe of snow on average through the end of the year. Not looking like anywhere in the forecast right now. Our snow potential index is 0. But for the gardeners in you, if you're planting, those outdoor areas, don't plant those most sensitive plants just yet, because look at those areas in the red. That's still March frosts and freezes are possible, climatologically speaking. And then the yellows are April timeframes for the last typical last frost and freezes. And even near Mother's Day in May along the IA1 corridor, I know that's kind of a better benchmark for saving until planting those permanent plants in the soil. So for now, stay nimble, bring those plants, in pots in and outside, indoors and outdoors as we get, maybe a couple of frosts and freezes here and there in the coming weeks. All right, let me review from the top with you. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. We've got the PM update there that I wrote to CapitalWeatherGang.com. Radar is active with some snowflakes still in the region, but check it out. We warm quickly this week. Once we get wind out of the way tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, most likely, then Tuesday, we're calmer and much warmer from snowflakes to 70s. Big changes on the way in just the next 48 hours or so. All right, Julia, you need warmer weather. I hope you are. I'm going to use some symbols here to see if I can get the displays. I want some fireworks and lasers for you because the warm weather lovers are going to love this week. So let's celebrate. If you're a warm weather lover, it's a pretty great forecast for this week. Aga, thanks for tuning in on X. And Janet, appreciate you tuning in and all the updates. And David, you as well. And Charlene, the snow lover is actually ready to move on to spring. I know some of you are giving up. And Scott, I don't think we want to completely, dismiss some of these snowflake chances, maybe accumulating and dusting to an inch in parts of the region, especially on grassy surfaces through the equinox. But our snow potential index, or SPI, is 0 for a reason. David is loving the later sunsets. Good evening, Evan, under daylight time now, indeed. And Carol, good to see you. And let's see, Mike is planting potatoes next Sunday, and you got there in the Blue Ridge area in the Shenandoah Valley some snow grassy accumulation today. And Carol, looks like a fantastic week indeed. Once we get the wind out of the way tomorrow and tomorrow night, we turn into a pleasant, warm week, generally sunny and calmer. JS, thanks for tuning in from X. Hello, hope you're doing well. And Steve, hello, Culpepper from this windy evening. Indeed, a little more wind for the next 24 hours or so. And Rachel, indeed, some snow on radar from snowflakes to 70s just in the next 48 hours. Possible we touch 70 on Tuesday. And glad, Charlene, you're picking out your garden seeds as well. And just remember, don't plant the most sensitive plants permanently in the soil with the frost and freezes not behind us yet for the growing season. All right, Jay, thanks for tuning in. And Mom too, and Judy and Rosie on Instagram. Make sure I've caught up on all the questions and comments on Instagram as well. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. That's our blog anytime you need us, 24/7. We're looking at quite the big change coming in this week from snowflakes today to 70s possible on Tuesday. Big change is coming. We just need to get this wind out of the way after these snowflakes end this evening. We've got wind gusts still maybe near 50 miles per hour in a couple spots tomorrow. Then we calm down tomorrow night. The battle, though, is between the slow pressure off of Maine headed into the Canadian Maritimes and stronger high pressure in the southern Mississippi Valley, slowly building toward us and getting us calmer by Tuesday. But we're in the battleground right now. The temperatures take their time warming until we can get the wind out of the way tomorrow and tomorrow night. We warm quickly, though, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, potential for 4 days of 70 degrees or warmer in, let's say, downtown DC in typical warmer spots. And then we've got the kind of the downside of the winds in this transition zone between the low pressure in Maine and high pressure in southern Mississippi Valley. With gusts near 50 miles per hour, we are in these kind of middle ground, the battleground for power outages in the mid-Atlantic. As you can see, Virginia has the most outages right now. I hope you have maybe your devices charged. Maybe you want to charge them tonight if you still have power, just in case. This is not, of course, a widespread power outage as you see on the scale at the very top there, but it is notable and that's why we do have a wind advisory in effect. So let's see, clouds this week, not too big of a deal, though we start getting a little cloudier by the end of the week. That's when precipitation might start coming back in the picture Friday through Sunday. Nothing too heavy as it looks now. 7 days of rain only adding up by the time you talk to me next Sunday for a weekly Sunday sunset shot. Maybe a quarter, a third to maybe a half inch in the wettest of spots. All right, Kirk, thanks for joining in, Ashley. And we've got John. Pacific, North Atlantic. Wow. And we're talking about the oscillations there in the Pacific, but right now we're going kind of ending El Nino in the ENSO region, the equatorial Pacific, and going toward La Nina for perhaps this summer. All right, and we've got other questions. Santee, Katie, and Jay Daniels, thanks for tuning in on Instagram. Eric and Robert as well, and Jared. All right, Kirkland, thank you for tuning in as well. Winds tomorrow, Susie, might stay pretty high until late afternoon, going down another notch tomorrow night, and I think calmer by Tuesday. Hello, Karen, thanks for tuning in. Ruth Elisa, no major snows forecast in March and nothing on the horizon right now. But I'm not completely ruling out more of these snowflakes as we get in, to the equinox. I still think some snowflakes are possible, maybe some grassy dustings, accumulations here and there. Charlie, the pollen is looking high this week for trees, so hang in there. I'm not loving that idea, especially with the warmth. It's going to blossom even further. And Matt and Manuel, thanks for tuning in on Facebook and excuse me, Instagram. We're on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube. Good seeing all of you. Shiny, thanks for tuning in. And Alejandro, you could get some snow and snow grains tonight, mixing it with these snow showers in Falls Church as well. Jen and Matt, thanks for tuning in on Instagram. And indeed, Ruth Elisa, there's a lot going on tonight. I hope you don't have a power outage with your Oscars party. And Charlene has some snow squalls there in Pennsylvania. Rachel, you could see some snowflakes in Fairfax tonight. And we've indeed, David, you're feeling the pollen. It's the high for trees this week. It's going to probably go a little higher before it gets better. And Rachel, so far the cherry blossoms are not vulnerable to frost or freezes or cold air as it stands now. But we're watching that. Let's jump ahead and just touch on the cherry blossoms with the warmth this week. It is looking like they are going to accelerate toward peak bloom a little bit sooner, maybe on the sooner end, maybe closer to March 23rd, maybe a little bit sooner than our estimate and with the National Park Service estimate, because they did reach stage 2 of 6 sooner, the soonest ever, much earlier than normal. So we're gonna have to watch that with warmth coming up, potentially 4 days of 70 degrees this week. But gardeners, of course, just make sure you know the last frost and freezes are not behind us. Lots of red in the region, which is final freezes and frosts in March. Look at all those yellows still. Plenty of places still see frost and freezes in April. So just be aware, maybe do potted plants that you can bring inside that are sensitive. And I'm just showing the snow, even though we don't have snow in the forecast. We still have almost an inch on average possible through the end of snow season this month. So snow lovers, I'm just trying to give you a little bit of hope here and there, even though nothing is directly in the forecast. And we at least are enjoying some snowflakes tonight and some snow squalls in the mountains. Watts and TT, thanks for joining in on Instagram. Appreciate you tuning in on X, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Pollen, snowflakes, Karen, indeed, we're enjoying a little bit of precipitation, kind of keeping the pollen more under control today, but I'm worried with the wind tomorrow and then warmth on Tuesday onwards that we could see an explosion in some pollen a little bit this week, especially in the trees. And good to see you, Ruth Elisa, and having a good time with mom. Monday will be windy tomorrow, maybe gusts near 50 miles per hour. You have a great week as well, Julia. Thanks for tuning in. And no snow in Springfield yet. Good report, Ruth Elisa. And no snow in Reston, Rachel. Excellent. All right. So I love these reports, getting all of your information on what, as we're seeing on radar, some mixed precip, some rain and snow showers in the region. I'm Cameron Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com. That's our blog 24/7, anytime you need us. But warm weather lovers, woo, it is looking like a really good week for you. We're going to have lots of warmth. Sunshine is going to dominate for most of the week. So if you are kind of ready to put snow chances behind us, at least for now, we're going to go from snowflakes to 70s in 48 hours. So enjoy the heat. It is going to be well above average, which is right around mid 50s this time of year. So we're going to kind of launch into above average conditions after we get snowflakes out of here tonight, wind out of here by tomorrow night, and then off to the races for warm weather this week. And let's see, I have wind tomorrow. The gusts might be near 50 miles per hour, so please keep that in mind. Wind advisories do continue. And that's a battle between the low and high pressure system between the Maritimes of Canada and the lower Mississippi valleys where the strong high pressure is. We're in the battle zone. And given that, we are seeing some power outages. It's not good in Virginia is the hardest hit state right now with the wind-induced power outages. So I hope you are charging your devices if you are in a typical zone that loses power more easily. DFP reports on Instagram, so snow squalls in Silver Spring. Excellent. Let's get some fireworks going for that. If there we go. And then we've got Buckeyes joining in, and Lady Coach and Steve F and MC. Thanks for tuning in on Instagram. And Karen, wow, windy indeed. Up to 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts tomorrow are still possible with that wind advisory continuing. It's not until tomorrow night that winds really subside. This is a long wind event. Off and on whiteout there in Garrett County. Wow, excellent, Barbara. Thanks for reporting. That's a really good snow bullseye zone for you there in that part of Maryland. And Ruth Lisa, you bet. Take care. And next week, let's look at that, Paul. I think this is a good time to look at how we're leaning next week with temperatures above, precipitation below, kind of leaning below average with decent probability for next week. So we shouldn't be as warm as we were going Tuesday onward this week into the 70s. Precipitation, not a clear signal, but maybe a slight lean to above average precipitation next week. Not that we need it. No drought in the direct DC area. A couple spots, one in Tennessee and one in North Carolina, of some moderate, the first level droughts and some abnormally dry conditions in the lighter yellow. But look at this rain surplus below. And the darkest blue pixels in the panhandle of West Virginia, for instance, South Central Virginia, up to 200% of normal precipitation has fallen since the year began, January 1st. It's quite amazing. Now, blossoms, of course, we're watching notably ahead of schedule. Stage 2 has developed. So we're not sure. Maybe we need to, with the National Park Service, we need to consider maybe an earlier peak bloom target date. We'll keep you updated at capitalweathergang.com this week. But of course, not to forget, last frosts and freezes are not completely behind us yet. It is not clear sailing with high confidence for the growing season. And that's even the yellow up here. Those are a lot of regions in the yellow colorings, which still have April final freezes and frosts. So please keep that in mind, gardeners. Keep those pots kind of mobile that you can bring inside throughout April. And even here, without snow in the forecast, I just want to point out there's still an average nearly an inch of snow possible before the end of the month, climatologically speaking. So I am not throwing in the towel for you snow lovers just quite yet, even though I have nothing in the forecast other than the snowflakes that we're experiencing here tonight in parts of the region. I hope if you're seeing some snow that you're happy about it. Nothing expected to accumulate, but it's nice. It's a little festive. We'll give some fireworks for some snowflakes at least, and fireworks for warm weather lovers. We go from snowflakes today to 70s potentially as soon as Tuesday. Quite a big change coming in the next 48 hours. We just have to get this wind behind us. Near 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts are possible here still in the region tomorrow with a wind advisory continuing. That is a battle happening between low pressure in the Canadian Maritimes and Maine and the Gulf of Maine with a strong high pressure system in the southern Mississippi River Valley. Slowly, that high pressure moves over us by Tuesday, creating calmer conditions and warmer conditions. So just be patient. This is a long and somewhat annoying wind event, and it is indeed causing some power outages that I want to show you as well, with Virginia being the hardest hit with these 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts and amount of power outages resultant from that. All right, we've got Nura, thanks for the update. You're most welcome. Appreciate you tuning in on X. And Deidre, appreciate seeing you on Facebook. You have a great week. And one tree down so far, Andrew, I'm sorry to hear that. Indeed, I bet you're ready for the wind to stop. Unfortunately, this wind advisory does continue through 5 o'clock tomorrow. All right, I'm checking the comments on Instagram as well, Facebook and X and YouTube. I appreciate all of you tuning in. I'm Camden Walker for CapitalWeatherGang.com, the blog. Anytime you need us, there's the address 24/7. These are our weekly Sunday sunset chats. Yi, Nikki, and Lee William, and Samuel, thanks for tuning in on Instagram. And Catherine, you're most welcome. Thanks for tuning in from Facebook. I really appreciate seeing you. All right, we've got clouds generally behaving this week. And the white, that's clear skies. Clouds, kind of overcast skies. And the blue, kind of sometimes more cloudy during the night, during the day. So fairly bright skies overall this week. It's not until Friday through Sunday that we see our next real precipitation chance. Stay tuned as we get closer to the weekend. We will kind of fine tune our forecast on when we might see some rain. And George and Nat and DG and Alex, thanks for tuning in on Instagram, and Leah as well. All right. We've got rain amounts not adding up. Even if we do see rain Friday through Sunday off and on, we don't have but maybe a third to a half an inch of rain accumulating Friday through Sunday. By the time you talk to me for our weekly Sunday sunset chat next week, not too terribly much rain to speak of. And then looking further ahead, as I'm about to go off the air, I'm reaching my time limit For next work week and beyond the 7-day period, it looks like temperatures are leaning below average, precipitation above average by maybe just a hair of probability. And it's not like we need it though. We're doing fine in the precipitation department, double of what we normally expect since January 1st year to date of average. It's 200% of average in some spots in the darkest blue pixels there. Drought, we're clear and doing hydrologically awesome in the DC area. Blossoms will be monitored this week. Stay tuned for updates with the warm air coming in. Maybe 4 days of 70s, Tuesday through Friday. We'll see. So we might need to think about an earlier than previously predicted time frame for peak bloom. And of course, gardeners, we are not past our last frosts and last freezes. And yes, there's still a slight chance, on average, maybe near an inch of snow before snow season comes to a close this month in the DC area, although nothing is directly on the forecast scope right now for snow lovers. I am sorry. So I'll do more fireworks for the warm air coming in. If you're a warm weather lover, it is your week to enjoy. Tuesday through Friday might be in the 70s. We go from snowflakes tonight, the wind tomorrow, with some wind chill still in the air, and some wind advisory goes through 5 o'clock tomorrow. And then off to the races within 48 hours from now, we will be in the 70s, most in a few of the warmest spots. And then more likely Wednesday through Friday is our warmest period. All right, you stay warm, Ruth Elisa. Love the snow and gardening. Rachel, Peter, thanks for tuning in as well. And let's see, Donna, I think I will double check that for you. And Charlene, you have a good week and good luck with the allergies. I know high tree pollen this week is expected. You have a good week, Charlene and Rebecca and Karen. You stay warm. And David, good seeing you. And yep, Paul, I'll see you at 7:17 or 18 p.m. next week. I love that. Good to see you, and I appreciate you tuning in. And all right, thank you so much. Let's see, need a good weather for this week, George. I hope you enjoy these 70s. Good seeing you on Instagram, and I will leave it there for now. Thanks for everyone tuning in on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube. I'm Camden Walker signing off. CapitalWeatherGang.com is our blog 24/7. Anytime you need us. PM update there at the top. From snow to 70s in the next 48 hours. Can you believe it? I'll see you next Sunday for a weekly chat then. Bye for now.